on Prime Crime.
What'd you just say?
That's what you were researching, correct?
Say it again?
Teen porn videos.
You're out your mind. Show me the teen you just said. You want to pay me some kind of child molester? Show me. Show me.
I'm a grown man with grown kids. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me like that. Nobody.
Please don't apologize.
No, I've already apologized to the parents over and over again.
We know.
I don't apologize to you.
Objection.
Don't apologize to you.
The outcome of a case often hinges on critical moments in the courtroom.
How many instances of perjury do you think you have committed during your testimony in this trial?
I lied about several times.
Creating some truly heartbreaking moments.
I feel like I don't deserve the chance to be with my family and friends. I never wanted to take an innocent person's life.
And some shocking ones too.
What did you tell your colleagues that you were looking for as you sat looking through Karen Reed's phone?
No news so far.
No nudes so far, correct?
Correct.
And you said that to your bosses.
Yes, sir.
Hey there, everybody, I'm Jesse Weber. On Prime Crime, we have covered numerous trials that show the courtroom battle between the prosecution and the defense, right? Today's episode, a little bit different. We're going to take it a step further. We are going to dive into some of the most intense and unforgettable dramatic moments that we have ever seen. These moments reveal the strategic moves, the gamble of taking the stand, and the raw emotion that often unfold in the courtroom. So we're going to kick it off with the defendant who chronicled the rise and fall of his marriage on social media, but in real life, it was his wife, her friend, and his own young daughter who paid the price.
All right, so what do you call yourself, tough guy, huh? ¿Cómo se llama?
Antonio Montana. And you? What you call yourself?
May 2024, San Diego, California. This is Ali Abulaban. He's a TikTok star on trial for the murders of his wife Anna and her friend Rayburn Barron. But in this courtroom, the battle between prosecution and defense is not simply about his guilt or innocence.
Ali ran down the hallway. This was captured on a Nest video. He still has the audio recording on, so you can hear him running with the phone in his pocket. Then you hear him using the key card to enter the apartment. You hear the door open, and then you hear Anna scream. 1 second after Ali entered the apartment, he racked his gun, and you hear a clink as if a bullet fell to the ground, and then Ali fired the first shot. Then he's walking towards the living room. He racks his gun again. He fired 4 more shots. They're about 1 second apart. He killed Ray first.
And he shoots him twice in the head and once in the throat. Meanwhile, there's Anna just terrified.
And then he stood in front of Anna. He racked his gun again.
And she screams. And he turns to Anna and he shoots her in the forehead. He has taken pictures of the bodies of his wife and her friend, Ray. He's also recorded the whole thing.
You could hear it where he is in the hallways of the apartment where he's telling his mother, I killed her, I killed her.
That was the defendant executing Anna and Ray. Cold, calculated murders. The defendant was jealous, controlling, and violent during their relationship. And Anna finally left him and was moving on. But the defendant couldn't take it. If he couldn't have Anna, no one could.
So the prosecution was very confident because they felt they were going to be able to prove that Ali did premeditate this crime.
Now you are going to hear the defendant saying that he wanted to kill another man that Anna was with, and that he would go to jail if he found her with another man. You will hear overwhelming evidence that the defendant intended to murder Anna and Ray. And at the end of this trial, I will ask that you find the defendant guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Is that heat of passion, or was it premeditated? It could be that he was honestly curious as to whether or not she was cheating on him like he believed she was doing. And then when he heard it, it just sent him into a tailspin.
The defense's ultimate goal is to paint a picture that this is either a heat of passion or heat of the moment. That would be the strategy here to get something reduced from first degree to second degree or voluntary manslaughter.
Ali was driven to the brink. It was the perfect storm. He was so completely overcome by the months of torture and heartache and pain that he reacted without thought, without judgment, and without malice. Ali shot Ray and Anna in the heat of passion.
You can't say that it's heat of passion when you're the one who walked into an apartment you weren't supposed to be in with a loaded gun and you fire immediately upon entering.
As part of the defense's strategy, Ali Abulaban takes the stand.
I mean, you guys have a history at this point of trying to get under each other's skins.
Yes, and one of the things when I'm under the effects of cocaine, I become really impulsive and I don't think before I speak, and I say very mean things. I don't recognize how much of an impact it is.
He takes the stand for 3 days in his own defense, which is not something many defense attorneys would recommend, but they were trying to prove here in this case this heat of passion. So they possibly believed he needed to take the stand to explain how he was feeling in that moment.
What happened next?
I snapped. I rolled on top of Anna and I began punching her.
Where did you punch her?
In her face.
Do you have any idea how many times you punched her?
3 times.
And then what happened?
I got off of Anna. Anna was crying and I was like, I'm so sorry. And I'm apologizing profusely because it's not something I ever want to do. It's not something, I mean, that's disgusting to me. And I was just very impulsive.
When Ali was on direct exam, he was calm. He told his story. Obviously, a lot of that was rehearsed. But when I was confronting him with certain bad facts on cross-examination, he had some outbursts.
You heard that word respect, correct?
I didn't hear anything.
You, before you shot Anna, you told her essentially that she wasn't respecting you, correct?
That is false.
That is not a female voice saying respect, correct?
That is not, there's nobody saying respect in there.
That is not Ray saying respect because he's already dead, correct?
I do not know the status of Ray, but there's nobody saying respect in that audio.
That's what you said to Anna, and then you killed her.
I did not say that.
He would curse at me. He would ask me questions. Ali was ultimately trying to be very controlling of me while I was conducting my cross-examination.
You shot her because she had disrespected you and was with Ray, correct?
No.
Right after you shot Anna in the head, you pushed her head down into Ray's lap, right?
Oh, get I'm not gonna tolerate this.
The jury just was able to see who he really was as the violent and controlling person that Anna had always described him as.
Next, the prosecution zeroes in on Abulaban's web searches, unleashing a fresh batch of courtroom fireworks.
So you were looking up trash cans because you wanted to hide some bodies, correct?
I'm sorry. You're out of your mind.
On October 18th, you were also researching teen porn videos, correct?
What? What did you just say?
That's what you were researching, correct?
Say it again?
Teen porn videos.
You're out your mind. Show me the teen you just said. You want to paint me as some kind of child molester? Show me. Show me. What you just said, I've never seen that in a discovery. I've been incarcerated 3 years. You never showed that to my team. Where did you get that?
It's in your phone.
After about a month of gripping testimony from experts, loved ones, and close friends, and a deep dive into cell phone data, social media posts, and chilling surveillance footage, the trial barrels towards its dramatic conclusion, closing arguments, and a verdict.
The defendant felt disrespected by Anna and Ray. So he executed a plan, and then he executed them. And their families cannot see them anymore because the defendant was so possessive and controlling of Anna that if he could not have her, no one could.
It's almost like this person is a possession of mine. It's a matter of ownership. Somebody is trying to take something that belongs to me, and that is intolerable to me.
He murdered Anna and Ray in cold blood, and he is guilty. And I ask that you find him guilty of both counts of first-degree murder. Thank you.
The defense had an insurmountable hill to climb in this case in many, many respects.
Ali Boulaban is not a murderer. Yes, he killed Anna, the woman he loved, the mother of his beautiful daughter, Amira, and he killed Ray, a man with whom Anna was having an affair. And he cannot undo what he has done, but he did not murder them. I am asking you to hold Ali responsible, but only responsible for what he did. This was a crime of passion. He reacted to the provocation that he was experiencing. He is not guilty of first-degree murder. He is not guilty of second-degree murder. Find him guilty of 2 counts of voluntary manslaughter.
So the jury was tasked with determining whether or not Ali was guilty of first-degree murder, and if not first, then was it second degree, and if not second degree, then was it voluntary manslaughter?
Normally, a trial ends when the jury delivers their verdict, but in this case, the chaos didn't stop there.
And so it's perfectly reasonable for me to ask those questions.
Yeah, you. All right, let me make something clear right now. If there is any disturbance, you will be put outside.
Real quick, talking crime, if you're a homeowner, you need to listen to this. In today's AI and cyber world, scammers are stealing home titles and your equity is the target. This is a real thing. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on one document, they use a fake notary stamp, they pay a small fee with your county, and just like that, your home title has been transferred out of your name. Then they take out loans using your equity or even sell your property, and you won't even know what's happened until you get a collection or foreclosure notice. So when's the last time you checked your home title? If your answer is never, you need to do something about it right now. That is why I've partnered with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code PRIMECRIME at HometitleLock.com and you'll get a free title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud does happen, they will spend up to $1 million to fix it. Go to HometitleLock.com, use promo code PRIMECRIME. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code PRIMECRIME.
We, the jury in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Ali Nasser Aboulaban, guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree.
Silence.
Of Rayburn Cardenas Baran. We, the jury in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Ali Nasser Aboulaban, guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree. Quiet. Anna Aboulaban.
Before Ali Aboulaban is officially sentenced, the family of the victims have a few things to say.
My mom treated you well! Sorry, Your Honor. What did they do to you? You didn't do anything to you! You know Anna Marie is not gonna go cheat if you didn't cheat first!
All right. Ma'am, if you're not going to be able to control yourself.
Sorry, Your Honor, but this feeling is like, and I want to share the court the devastating impact the loss of my sister Anna Marie has had on our lives. My sister was a gentle, loving, sweet young woman whose absence has left a hole in my heart that can never be filled. No sentence can ever bring my sister back to us, but we hope that justice will be served.
The sentencing phase of this case was incredibly intense. The family spoke and they were very angry, as they should be. They were extremely heartbroken, and there was a lot of emotion in that courtroom.
My name is Jordana Barron, and Rayburn was my brother. He had a beautiful soul. So I'm here today to ask for justice for my brother Ray, for Anna, and for my mom, who has to suffer the rest of her life knowing that her youngest son and her baby was taken from her in such a violent way.
Mr. Abulman?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you want to make a statement, this is the time.
Your Honor, I have something written.
Okay.
May I face?
Sure.
It is truly unfortunate that despite the compelling evidence that this was a crime of passion, somehow the jury still landed on this verdict, and they certainly wasted no time in doing so. The fact that I spent more time on the stand than the jury took to deliberate my fate is very concerning, and that justice was not the motivating factor behind their decision. It was vengeance.
Ali read a statement, a very lengthy statement, I believe about 10 minutes long. It was very apparent that the statement wasn't fully sincere, that he was just saying these things to try to get a better sentence for himself, and that he was a good actor. And so the judge did make comments about Ali being a very talented actor.
I've watched him here during all of this time. When I saw the Scarface videos, it's as if when he committed these crimes, he became that persona of Scarface, of just the cold-blooded killing without remorse. Any tears that he's cried in this courtroom have been for himself. I don't know if he's really sorry.
I felt like the judge was saying, I've just seen a 3-day performance, so I will give it to you that you're a good actor. It seemed to be very, very calculated in so many ways.
And so the judge sentenced him to the maximum sentence that he could get.
The bottom line here is he will die in prison. He will never be a free man. He will take his last breath there. Please. In this matter, the defendant on count 1 will be sentenced to life without the possibility of probation. Consecutive to count 1 will be count 2, which will be life without the possibility of parole.
Now, obviously, this is not the first time that real lives lived out on social media hide what really may be going on behind closed doors, but this case is just a frightening example of what can happen when domestic violence escalates and how a trial can reveal who someone truly is. Now we move on to our next case. Imagine you come home from a long day of work and see an intruder in your apartment. It's pretty scary, right? What happens though when you take action and you realize you're in the wrong apartment? Our next trial involves a devastating and life-altering misreading of a situation and the tragic consequences that follow.
You saw someone? Yes, I thought it was my apartment. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Okay, and where are you at right now?
I'm inside the apartment with him. Hey, come on.
What's your name?
I'm Amber Geiger.
Amber Geiger, the former Dallas police officer who shot Botham Jean to death in his own apartment, thinking he was an intruder in her unit, was arrested and ultimately charged with murder. During her 2019 trial, the question for the jury was whether Geiger's mistakes and actions were criminal, a question that became all the more complicated when Geiger took the stand.
And why did you shoot Amber?
I was scared he was going to kill me.
Amber Geiger took the stand in her trial, and I think that was kind of a no-brainer. Quite often, we don't want defendants to take the stand. In this case, she had to. She had to tell her side of the story because the evidence was overwhelming.
I heard moving around inside my apartment.
What type of moving around?
Like loud shuffling, someone walking.
What did the figure do after you said, "Let me see your hands"?
He started coming towards me.
Did you hear anything as he was walking towards you?
There was a loud yell. He was yelling, "Hey, hey, hey," in an aggressive voice.
Okay.
The defense's case was entirely turned on whether her mistake was reasonable. If her mistake was reasonable, then everything that flowed from the mistake was just simply that, a mistake, and it was excusable.
Why did you fire?
So I was scared. I was scared this person's apartment was going to hurt me. And I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Whether or not this was an accident, look, I just can't see it. She went to this house, I saw the door open, the doormat was different, the accoutrements in the house were different, there was a different person in the house. I don't see how that is reasonably perceived as a mistake.
I kind of didn't buy it. She is a police officer, did somewhat work against her. What do we think of police officers? We think of those are folks who have some type of heightened sense of awareness and where they are.
When the prosecution questions Geiger, they try to show the jury just how irrational she acted that night.
You should have taken a position of cover and concealment and got help. And instead you decided to go in.
Yes, I did go in.
You had a police radio on you, didn't you?
I did.
Did it work?
It did.
Then Geiger drops a bombshell.
When you pulled that trigger, you intended to kill Mr. John.
He was the threat, yes, sir.
Will you answer my question? When you aimed and pulled the trigger at Mr. John, shooting him in center mass exactly where you are trained, you intended to kill Mr. John.
I did.
My hand went over my mouth when I heard that. I don't think I've ever heard a police officer testify that they intended to kill someone.
How do you feel what you did with Mr. John?
I feel like a terrible person. I feel like a piece of I hate it. I hate that I have to live with this every single day of my life. And I ask God for forgiveness, and I hate myself every single day.
She absolutely showed a high level of remorse. It wasn't remorse just because she was going to go to jail. This was something that she didn't intend.
I'm sorry.
The fate of Amber Geiger is now in the hands of the jury.
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Amber Geiger, guilty of murder as charged in the indictment. No outburst.
I was surprised by the verdict. It is very rare that law enforcement officers are even charged, let alone convicted.
I would have to say I was not surprised by the verdict. I did not hear any reasonable arguments as to the reasonableness of her mistake.
Well, I think that this case stands for the proposition that everyone will be held accountable. It doesn't make any difference what your profession is or who you are. We're going to handle it appropriately and fairly, and we think that a Dallas County jury did the same thing.
While the trial itself was certainly memorable, what happened at sentencing is something entirely unexpected.
Quite frankly, I've never seen anything like the end of this trial.
Now, I know some of you might be true crime fans out there, but is anybody in a business of some kind too? If so, let me ask you this. How much time do you think your business team is wasting buried in spreadsheets or chasing down receipts or trying to make sense of endless rows of bank statements? Yeah, probably too much. Well, that is where Odoo Accounting steps in. So Odoo gives users a clean, modern accounting dashboard that shows you exactly what you need. Your bank balances, your cash flow, your vendor bills, your customer invoices, all in one place. It's intuitive, it's easy to navigate, and for anyone managing their business accounting, it's invaluable. You want to know why Odoo is going to give your business a cutting edge? Well, Odoo uses smart AI with a 98% recognition rate to automatically generate invoices and vendor bills. So all you have to do is just review and validate. That's it. Their bank reconciliation, next level. Odoo connects with over 28,000 banks to automatically match your transactions with your financial records to give you pinpoint accuracy. There's no more guesswork. You need reports? Odoo's got everything from your balance sheets, your cash flow statements, professionally formatted, instantly accessible. So if you've been doing all of this accounting work manually, you can stop right now. Automate invoices, vendor bills, accounting workflow with Odoo today. Get a free 15-day trial today at odoo.com/primecrimeaccounting.
This is not about hate. It's about being scared that night.
After former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger was convicted of murdering her neighbor Botham Jean in his own apartment, thinking it was her own unit, it was time for sentencing. And that is when the state introduces new evidence, the racially charged text message history of Geiger. In one message, she arguably pokes fun at the death of Martin Luther King Jr., and in another, seemingly criticizes black officers.
Her text messages reveal that she's definitely got some issues of bias, or at the very least, some type of insecurity about being around and or working with black people.
The same jury that convicted Geiger now has to determine her sentence, which ranges from 5 to 99 years in prison. Their decision?
And assess the defendant's punishment at 10 years imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
The sentence was a little lenient. The jury took some mercy on her, probably because they felt sympathy for Miss Geiger.
But the surprises wouldn't stop there. After the jury's decision, Jean's brother Brant takes the stand, and in an incredible twist, he asks for the court's permission to give Geiger a hug.
Quite frankly, I've never seen anything like the end of this trial, the sentencing phase. I was in shock. I was in complete shock. I believe that helped them to let them know that they were forgiving her, so they would not have to carry that portion of the pain around with them.
It's just amazing that that young man could find that amount of forgiveness and love in his heart. The best qualities of his brother were showing through him at that moment.
Then, Judge Tammy Kemp follows suit and not only hugs Geiger, but lends her Bible.
When I saw that initially, the judge giving Miss Geiger a hug and the Bible, I thought it was a little much. But again, maybe the testimony of Miss Geiger really made a lasting impression on everyone in that courtroom.
I don't think there was any evidence that showed that she's an inherently bad person. The judge obviously felt that she was not an evil person, and she responded what I feel was in an appropriate way. I don't have any problems with what the judge did.
Amber Geiger appealed her conviction but lost in 2022. And in October of 2024, on what would have been Botham Jean's 33rd birthday, she was denied parole. Now we go from one surprising defendant to another, because the man you're about to see left everyone stunned with his courtroom tantrums, his outrageous antics, his wild legal maneuvers. That's right, he represented himself. Almost a year after a red SUV barreled down a parade route in Waukesha, Wisconsin, killing 6 people and injuring dozens of others, the alleged driver of that vehicle is on trial. Darrell Brooks Jr. faces 76 criminal counts, including intentional homicide charges.
This was an accident, and he mistakenly wandered onto the parade route after passing all this. All he had to do was stop. They could have paused the parade. He didn't. It was intentional.
This trial was anything but conventional.
Do you wish to represent yourself in this case?
Yes, I do.
This trial was unlike any other trial any of us have ever been involved in because of his self-representation.
I would like to represent myself as a sovereign citizen.
Throughout the trial, Darrell Brooks would bring up many things that were irrelevant. One of them was that he was a sovereign citizen. It basically was that he's not a citizen of the United States, and therefore the government, the judge, the law doesn't have any control over him.
We all kind of figured he was going to go the sovereign citizen direction there. It was just one of those where we're going, oh, great, here we go. It's going to be a rodeo.
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
The written decision that I previously entered is what I will stand on.
I don't think he actually really believes that he's a sovereign citizen. I don't think he believed that there was an issue of subject matter jurisdiction. I think he's smarter than that. His motive was just to be a disturbance.
Objection. Leading the witness.
It's overruled. Now you may answer the question.
Grounds for the overrule, Your Honor.
It's overruled. You may answer.
Grounds for the overrule, Your Honor.
It was distracting with all of his interruptions and ramblings. Would you describe them all as being about teenage years?
Objection.
Overruled. He may answer.
This is the grounds, Your Honor. Do you even know the state of Wisconsin?
Objection.
Grounds. Grounds.
Sustained.
He would, on the flip of a switch without notice, just go off on irrelevant topics and not let it go.
The defense would like to call the plaintiff state of Wisconsin to the stand.
Object. The objection is noted. It is sustained. Call your next witness, please.
Reason for the sustain?
Not relevant.
I believe the jury deserves to know who the plaintiff is in this matter. We don't
Mr. Brooks,
know who the plaintiff is.
Please, move on.
But Brooks' outbursts would become even more volatile.
I'm a grown man with grown kids. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me like that. Nobody. And that's furthermore to that. I'm not because that's a lie.
Let him
because at
finish.
the end of the day,
Let
if
him
we
finish,
gonna open the door
Mr.
on that. No,
Brooks.
since he want to make a record and not be accurate, so let's be accurate all on the record. Since you think you know so much.
He reminded me of a 2-year-old.
The 2022 trial of Darrell Brooks Jr. was unlike anything we'd ever seen. Accused of driving through a holiday parade, killing 6 and injuring dozens, he chose to represent himself. A bold move and a wild ride.
Every time something started to go not his way, he would throw a temper tantrum, literally.
This court ordered Mr. Brooks be removed from the courtroom due to repeated interruptions. He took his shirt off as well. I'm also told that he is threatening to throw and break items.
And Judge Jennifer Darrow would find herself on the receiving end of much of Brooks' blow-ups.
I don't care what you believe fully.
All right.
It's not a game.
The amount of lashing out and disrespect was beyond belief.
Mr. Brooks.
Come on, man, stop.
When you
Stop
aren't
Stop
even
it.
letting
You're a
me
public
ask
servant, Your Honor.
questions.
I respect your courtroom. I respect you. You're a public servant, though. Your job is to be the referee.
You know, I didn't think that he would be that disrespectful. He has no respect for humankind at all.
I would like to provide the defendant and the court with a copy.
So that had to be said. So it's the defendant.
That's not how it was said.
That was how it said. You want to run the record back?
I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared.
She has to listen to that and respond to it. So her temperament was, she deserves high praise for that.
You are not being respectful to this proceeding or to this jury. No, it's not. With all due respect, stating that doesn't make it respectful.
You want to do right by these victims and by our communities. These families all suffered so greatly that we absolutely wanted to do our best.
I watched the body fly up onto the hood and her head snapped back and the body remained on the hood as it passed the side of my vehicle.
Asking these witnesses to relive these events was very difficult for us. Did you see the red SUV strike any people in the Catholic community group?
Several. It was in the air, like bowling pins.
Some of the witnesses had indicated that they even noticed that he almost had this look on his face, like he knew exactly what he was doing, exactly where he was going.
I saw a man focused on the group ahead of him.
Is that Darrell Brooks that you saw?
Yes.
While the prosecution presents evidence tying Brooks to the crimes, Brooks presents another side of the story.
What were the defenses to his case? First was that there was a mechanical error with the car.
You believe that there may have been some mechanical problems. How were you able to come to that determination?
That was my initial concern because of the noise that the engine was making.
The second issue was that they didn't have the right guy.
Could you see anybody inside the vehicle? Your answer was, I could not see the person real clearly.
And then the last one he brought was the person who did this did not intend to kill the individuals because they honked beforehand.
So you heard a horn beeping?
Yes.
Was it coming from the vehicle that you tried to stop?
I believe that it was.
And at one point, Brooks appeals to the jury's emotions and even improperly argues that the jury can ignore the law.
You have the power to nullify any law that you don't agree with.
Objection. Move to strike the statement.
Sustain.
We have wanted to do this compilation for a while now, and the reason that we can do it is not only because of the amazing support that we get from you guys, but also from our sponsors, and that includes Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. This is a firm with over 1,000 attorneys. You know why they have so many? Because they win a lot. They have recovered over $25 billion for more than 500,000 clients. In the past few months, a client in Florida received $12 million after the insurance company offered just $350,000. In Pennsylvania, a client was awarded $26 million. That is 40 times the insurer's $650,000 offer. Another client in Pennsylvania received $29 million after being offered only $500,000. Even if you think your case isn't worth millions of dollars, why not start a claim and fight for what you deserve? Morgan & Morgan makes it so simple. You can start a claim from your phone in just 8 clicks. So if you're injured, you can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/primecrime or scan the QR code on screen. In late October 2022, a 12-person jury reaches a unanimous verdict on the charges against Darrell Brooks Jr. after about 3 hours of deliberations.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Darrell E. Brooks, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide.
Burn in hell, you piece of
You are to be removed right now.
The jury finds Darrell Brooks Jr. guilty of all 76 criminal charges.
You had eyewitnesses who identified him as the person that was responsible. You had video that established he was the person responsible. You had him caught just a short distance away with the keys to the vehicle on him. You had a statement he made to the police where he clearly lies about where he was and why he was there. He darn well knew exactly what he had done.
Nearly a year to the day following the attack, at the sentencing hearing, Brooks faces the victims' families and the survivors of the parade massacre.
And there's nothing this court can do that would provide justice in my eyes. So all I ask is that you rot, and you rot slow.
Times where I felt justice wouldn't be served until he had to take that SUV to his chest, exactly the same way he treated my child. And I hope the look on my daughter's face before you ran her over haunts you for the rest of your life. That whole experience really opens up your eyes to know how fast things can be ripped away from you and can change your life in a matter of seconds. Jessalyn is doing amazing. It's surprising how well she has bounced back. The recovery process has been a very long journey.
Very long and exhausting. It was a lot of physical therapy and doctor's appointments. I'm doing pretty good.
As for Brooks, he has some words before his official sentencing.
Not only am I sorry for what happened, I'm sorry that you could not see what's truly in my heart.
But Judge Darrow is not convinced.
Frankly, Mr. Brooks, no one is safe from you. This community can only be safe if you are behind bars for the rest of your life. This court is imposing a life sentence without the possibility or eligibility for extended supervision consecutive to one another.
What a case. I know. My gosh. Okay, now, trials often spark debate, right? Guilty, not guilty. This next one, it started out in Massachusetts and it exploded all over the country with everything that went down, including in that courtroom. This had the whole nation talking.
911, what's emergency?
There's a guy unresponsive in the snow. I don't know if he's breathing.
It's very similar to the game of Clue. We have all these pieces and all of the players, but we're not yet sure who did what.
Free Karen Reed!
Karen Reed said she hit John O'Keefe, and I believe her! I believe her! I believe her!
Karen Reed's trial for the alleged murder of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, begins on April 29, 2024 in Dedham, Massachusetts, a trial followed and watched by many across the country.
The defendant is charged with second-degree murder. She's also charged with manslaughter while operating under the influence and leaving the scene after causing personal injury or death.
And stated repeatedly, I hit him. The only true and just verdict based on that is that the defendant, Karen Reed, is guilty of murder in the second degree, striking the victim, Mr. O'Keefe, with her car, knocking him back onto the ground, and then leaving him there for several hours in a blizzard, with temperatures in the teens, winds swirling around, snow piling up on his body until she comes with Mrs. McCabe and Mrs. Roberts just after 6 a.m.
Karen Reed was framed. Her car never struck John O'Keefe. She did not cause his death. And that means that somebody else did. You will learn that it was no accident that John O'Keefe was found dead on the front lawn of 34 Fairview Road. You will learn that at that address lived a well-known and well-connected law enforcement family in Canton, the Alberts. Because the Alberts were involved, and because they had close connections to the investigators in this case, Karen Reed was framed for a murder she did not commit.
One of the prosecution's key witnesses, the lead investigator on the case, is also one of the most controversial witnesses we have ever seen.
My response was 0 chance she skated.
And then what did you write?
She's
0 chance she skates. She's right?
Correct.
Karen Reed's on trial for the alleged murder of her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, and that's when lead investigator Michael Proctor takes the stand.
You could just read a series of responses from yourself.
From all accounts, he didn't do anything wrong. She's a whack job.
So these are your words, Trooper Proctor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and say them.
What did you tell your colleagues that you were looking for as you sat looking through Karen Reed's phone?
No nudes so far.
No nudes so far, correct?
Correct.
And you said that to your bosses.
Yes, sir.
Somehow, Michael Proctor, who is known to the Alberts for a very long time, and they consider him a very good friend, somehow catches this case. And he becomes a much bigger part of the investigation than I think he ever really wanted to be.
The Massachusetts State Police trooper responds to a series of texts he exchanged with friends, family, and colleagues.
And what does he say in that text?
I'm sure the owner of the house will receive some.
And what is it that you respond?
My first response was nope. Homeowner is a Boston cop too.
What, if anything, were you saying, or what was the purpose of that text in regard to the homeowner?
I was just letting him know that essentially Mr. O'Keefe is a Boston cop and the homeowner was a Boston cop as well.
You knew at that time, Trooper Proctor, that this was not going to implicate in any way, shape, form, or fashion another cop, correct?
Correct.
Lead investigator Trooper Michael Proctor indicates through a series of text messages from his personal phone that he is in close alliance with law enforcement. He's clearly biased against Karen Reed and willing to cover for fellow law enforcement officers.
And then 5051 says, oh, she's skating, right?
Correct.
And what did you write after that?
My response was 0 chance she skated.
And then what did you write?
She's
0 chance she skates. She's right?
Correct.
17 hours into this investigation, Trooper Proctor, you made the decision that you were going to put it on Miss Reed, didn't you? Put the case on Miss Reed. She was going to catch the case, correct? What you meant by that comment, Trooper Proctor, was I am going to make sure Miss Reed doesn't skate.
Michael Proctor, his testimony, his conduct in this investigation were incredibly damaging to the prosecution.
And from all accounts, the other decision that you made and the other determination you came to was my client, Karen Reed, was a whack job, right?
Yes.
What else did you say in response to she hot at least, question mark?
So following that text, I responded, yeah, she's a babe. Weird Fall River accent, though. No ass.
Yeah, she's a babe. Who's the she?
Miss Reed.
You think that's appropriate?
Absolutely not.
When he was reading those text messages, you could see reactions from jurors to the awful text that he had sent about Karen Reed.
The rest of the unprofessional and regrettable comments are something I'm not proud of, and I shouldn't have wrote in a private or any type of setting.
On June 25th, 2024, after 2 months, Karen Reed's trial comes to a close. The jury deliberates for more than 20 hours over 5 days, but in the end, they tell the judge they're deadlocked. Judge Cannoni declares a mistrial.
Since the end of the trial, Massachusetts State Police has issued a statement that Trooper Michael Proctor has been relieved of duty.
Proctor continues to be their poison apple. He continues to be a real liability to them, but at the same time, they very much need Proctor because he was the lead investigator on this case.
So what happened to Karen Reed? Well, her retrial began in April of 2025, and at the time of this recording, Karen Reed was acquitted of second-degree murder and manslaughter, but convicted of operating under the influence of liquor, and she was sentenced to 1-year probation. Now, our next case reveals the battle between conspiracy theories and the truth, and it showcases that ultimately, words have consequences, but there is certainly no shortage of absolutely unforgettable moments in this trial.
911 State Police can help you?
There's a shooting at St. Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut.
December 14th, 2012, Newtown, Connecticut. Reports of gunfire at an elementary school suddenly shatter the quiet and calm of this small-town community.
John 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Sandy Hook Elementary School, 12 Dickinson Drive.
Okay, I've got that. What's going on down there?
I believe they're shooting at the front glass. Something's going on.
All right, I want you to take cover.
The day would end in the deaths of 20 children, 6 adults, the shooter's mother, and the shooter himself. The Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre has been considered one of the worst mass shootings in American history. While the nation reeled from the horror of that day, something unexpected happened.
Let's talk to Kevin. Kevin, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, Alex. Calling about Sandy Hook. Basically, my take on it is I live about 50 miles from Newtown, and the whole thing is pretty much the next step in reality TV. You've got a bunch of people walking around a parking lot. It's pretty much what it comes down to, and none of the
No, I know. I've had the investigators on. I've had the state police have gone public. You name it. The whole thing is a giant hoax.
This is Alex Jones.
Would they stage this? I don't know. Do penguins live in Antarctica?
Jones is the founder and host of Infowars.com, a live-streaming conspiracy theorist website.
Now you can watch The Alex Jones Show live as it happens at Infowars.com/show.
If he sees something hit on his website, they'll try to emulate that. They want to repeat those spikes in traffic. And what we saw is that when he did his first really big story on Sandy Hook, his own sort of homegrown version of this lie, it actually became the 3rd most popular story on InfoWars ever.
If you've got a school of 100 kids and then nobody can find them, and then you've got parents laughing, going, ha, 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 and then they walk over to the camera and go, and I mean, but not just one, but a bunch of parents doing this, and then photos of kids that are still alive, they said died. I mean, they think we're so dumb that it's really hidden in plain view.
Immediately after the Sandy Hook shooting, Jones began to promote the idea this wasn't real.
Why did Hitler blow up the Reichstag? To get control. Why did government stage these things? To get our guns. I mean, why can't people get that through their head?
Alex Jones' statements about the Sandy Hook shooting would lead to multiple defamation lawsuits and also moments at trial that no one could have imagined.
Attorney Pattis, how many times do I have to say when I'm speaking, you stop? Just tell me what I need to do. Do I need to hold you in contempt?
10 years after the horror of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, InfoWars host and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones finds himself on trial. Multiple people who lost loved ones in the massacre, and even a former FBI agent, sued Jones in Connecticut and Texas for various claims such as defamation after he repeatedly and publicly called the mass shooting a hoax.
No emergency helicopters were sent. The ambulances came an hour and a half later and parked down the road. DHS an hour and a half later with a timestamp put up signs saying sign in here. They had porta potties being delivered within an hour and a half. It looked like a carnival. Looked like a big PR stunt.
Alex Jones would lose these cases by default judgments for failing to comply with discovery obligations. The only question that remains for these juries is how much would they order him to pay out in damages.
This man knew parents of murdered children were emotionally distressed, outraged, grieving. And he looked straight into that camera and he said, the only problem is I've watched a lot of soap operas and I've seen actors before. It kept going. It just kept going. It doesn't stop. 2017. And it's still going. They're still making videos saying it's phony as a $3 bill.
Alex Jones has already been punished. He lost all his access to the internet, millions of dollars. He regrets what he did.
To know the importance of standing up to bullies when they prey on people who are helpless and profit from them. And to know that unless you stop a bully will never stop.
Our contention, to be clear, is that the damage claims here are exaggerated because of the idiosyncratic motives of the plaintiffs, transforming their griefs into political weapons.
Jones's best defense was to show that he didn't cause incremental damage to the plaintiffs. To start with, they were all family members of victims in these school shootings. One could argue they were already subject to as much emotional distress as you could be. What he said didn't really matter.
To say the Alex Jones trials were different would be an understatement. Things happened that no one could have predicted, including one moment that was caught on camera after court had ended for the day.
There was not great relations of opposing counsel, but with Mr. Reynal, it was particularly abrasive. And the first time that Andino and I ever talked was outside the courthouse on the courthouse steps. And he told me at that time, in a sort of mocking way, you know, your clients are never gonna get a dime. Ha, what do you think about that? I knew what I was dealing with here was different than the kind of lawyer I would normally deal with. And that manifested itself at trial. Will you talk to me? Andino, will you talk to me? Will you talk to me? Will you talk to me? You said in that hallway, you said to me, are all your videos
I said this is a summary exhibit and we're agreeing to all this.
Hey guys, maybe now's not the time. Maybe we can cool off and I'm gonna have a phone call later.
He'd come after a day in court, which did not go very well for them. And Andino did not like that. I had this confrontation that was unlike anything I've ever had in a courtroom. I mean, it actually reminded me of, I'm in 8th grade again, because all of a sudden there's this man, you know, getting up on my personal space like he's gonna have a fight with me. It was comical to me at the time. And I think some of my humor at that is what made him even madder, is that I'm not taking this like this is an actual physical confrontation. The judge had said on the record, look, if that had happened in my presence, you'd be looking at contempt right now.
But the real fireworks begin when Alex Jones shows up.
Spit your gum out, Mr. Jones.
It's not gum.
What is it?
I had my tooth pulled a week and a half ago, and I had some gauze in there earlier.
So you're chewing on your gauze?
Would you like me to show you? I can show you right here.
I don't want to see the inside of your mouth.
In 2022, 10 years after the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, InfoWars founder and host Alex Jones is on the stand in 2 different trials. The plaintiffs, primarily those who lost loved ones in the massacre, successfully sued and won judgments against Jones after he made claims that the shooting was fake and staged. But now, it's time to determine how much to order Jones to pay in damages.
To put it kindly, you could say he was defiant. If you wanted to be less kind, you could say he was petulant.
This is a witch hunt. This is a show trial. This will go down in history as one of the greatest show trials ever to happen, not just here, but even in places like Nazi Germany.
We tell clients all the time, be quiet, don't say anything to the press. We fight our battles in the court, not out of the court. But here, Alex Jones wanted to do exactly the opposite. He was there solely for his out-of-court strategy of publicity and fundraising.
You encourage your audience to give you money using cryptocurrency donations, right?
Yes. Infowars.com/crypto.
That will end up as a clip on your show tonight.
He is trying to keep the money flow coming in by pretending to be the real victim here.
This is America. This is Texas. This is freedom. This is Christianity. This is resistance. Don't you ever not realize how important you are. And I'm talking to people that went to that puppet courthouse in Connecticut and put InfoWars stickers up everywhere. We commend you.
While Jones would make outrageous statements on his show and to the media, testifying under oath is a whole other story. And the world sees Jones do just that when he testifies in both the Texas and Connecticut trials.
Have you been wanting to apologize to the plaintiffs in this case for a long time?
Yes.
And what would you like to say to them?
That I never intentionally tried to hurt you.
Your belief at that time that no one died at Sandy Hook, that the whole thing was fake. Do you understand, as you sit here today, how crazy that is?
There have been so many lies and so many things in the past, and I was under a lot of pressure. And I truly, when I said those statements, when I say something, I mean it, that I really could believe that it was totally staged at that point.
Do you understand now that it was absolutely irresponsible of you to do that?
It was, especially since I've met the parents, and it's 100% real.
In fact, Jones actually tries to apologize to plaintiffs Scarlett Lewis and Neil Hesland.
And that he's slow enough to.
No, I'm slow enough to.
That's it. I'm not talking to you. You're not doing this. Well, that's not my fault. That's not the way this goes.
Why, you can't feed them fake videos anymore? Judge me.
I think he was genuine. I absolutely do. I believe that he is sorry for all the Sandy Hook stuff. I believe also, however, that he has this burning desire to satisfy an audience that has expectations of him.
I think Sandy Hook happened, and I think it's a terrible event, and I think we need to protect our children.
While Jones testifies that he took ownership and responsibility for the false statements,
got my head cleaned up, realized that it probably did happen, and I was probably, I mean, there was a good chance I was wrong. So I started basically trying to walk it back long before I got sued.
At the same time, Jones and his attorneys argue he shouldn't have to pay out that much.
And what didn't the plaintiff's lawyers tell you? They told you you're the conscience of the community, hold Alex accountable, make a point. They never talked about the damage. You heard from no physician. You saw no medical bill. You heard nothing about a lost wage. No receipt for anything has been put before you.
But when pressed by opposing lawyers, another side of Alex Jones comes out.
You taking this trial seriously? You're approaching it in good faith?
Absolutely.
Judge Maya Gamble comes from CPS, who has been exposed for human trafficking and working with pedophiles.
That's what you mean when you say you're taking this seriously.
I take this as serious as cancer.
The person on the left of this image is our judge, correct?
Yes.
The person on the right is another judge you don't like, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And hitting, let's just say this, extremely blue-collar folks. I mean, half that jury panel does not know who I am. It's people do live in all these different bubbles. And there's the bubbles that are awake and the bubbles that are questioning, but then there's the blue city bubbles where people do not know what planet they are on.
Mr. Jones, you don't like that this jury is made up of blue-collar folk. You think that's wrong?
No, I don't think that.
I'm glad that Alex Jones, when he showed up, I think he did show his true colors and he showed who he really was. He is a man that is incapable of any sort of compassion or remorse or fails to be apologetic in a sincere way.
That's Robbie Parker, isn't it, Mr. Jones? Yes. That's the real Robbie Parker, isn't it?
I mean, I said years ago I thought Sandy Hook happened.
Robbie Parker's sitting right here. He's real, isn't he?
Yes.
You put a target on his back just like you did every single parent and loved one sitting here, didn't you?
No, I didn't. Just like all the Iraqis, but you liberals kill and love. It's just, you're unbelievable. You switch on emotions on and off when you want. It's just ambulance chasing.
Why don't you show a little respect? You have families in this courtroom here that lost children, sisters, wives, moms.
Is this a struggle session? Are we in China? I've already said I'm sorry hundreds of times, and I'm done saying I'm sorry. I legitimately thought it might have been staged, and I stand by that, and I don't apologize for it.
And don't apologize, Mr. Jones. Please don't apologize.
No, I've already apologized to the parents over and over again.
We know.
I don't apologize to you.
Objection.
Don't apologize to you.
But there is one moment that leaves everyone speechless.
Do you know where I got this?
No.
Mr. Jones, did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook.
I still can't convince myself of exactly what happened there. There was no any indication why these documents were being sent to us, and it seemed to me that there was just a pure out mistake. That's when I contacted Mr. Reynal and said, hey, look, I think he sent this to me inadvertently. He said to just disregard the link at first, and then 10 days passed and no documents are identified as privileged. But as a result of this colossal mix-up, it actually revealed a lot of the games that they had been playing.
I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment. I gave them my phone.
And I'm gonna tell you 100% he did not know. I don't believe he had been briefed in any way about this disclosure. And I also believe that Mr. Reynal's reaction to me after the cross-examination, where he went into a panic and wanted to know all what was disclosed, I believe that was genuine as well. You had a lawyer who was not on top of what was happening at all. That is how your client gets embarrassed on a national stage.
Because your credibility, sir, is the most important thing with your audience, isn't it?
No, my most important.
No, okay, no. Your credibility is not your most important thing.
It's crushing the globalist.
Crushing globalists.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2022, and InfoWars founder and host Alex Jones finds himself in two different courtrooms. In both Connecticut and Texas, the plaintiffs, primarily the families of those who lost loved ones in the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, successfully sued Jones for his repeated comments that the massacre never happened and was staged.
What do you make of the green screen with Anderson Cooper down there on the ground? What do you make of the obvious staged interviews and multiple actors playing the part of multiple people? I mean, this is undoubted. Something's going on.
In both cases, the juries must determine the amount of damages Jones owes the plaintiffs for their suffering and whether punitive damages are warranted too. Jones' attorneys argue the claims are inflated, and Jones responds defensively and vividly.
Did you make money off of your Sandy Hook coverage?
No, we lost money. It really hurt us. I almost didn't dare the tape with the head of the state police saying there's a cover-up in Uvalde. I'm sure children died is terrible, but I'm like hands off now because I don't want to be sucked into this black hole of mass shootings anymore.
And outside the courtroom, he doesn't stop.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Everybody enjoying the show trial?
The Texas jury would end up awarding the plaintiffs in that case almost $50 million. But in Connecticut?
To plaintiff Robbie Parker. A. Defamation/slander damages past and future, $60 million. B. Emotional distress damages past and future, $60 million.
It was this huge weight lifted off me in the sense of I finally felt like I had been seen and I had been heard. That all of this stuff that I had been going through, somebody saw that and they recognized how bad it was and they recognized how atrocious it was and the harm that it did to me and my family. And they said, I see that and I want you to know that I see that.
David Wheeler, $55 million. To plaintiff Francine Wheeler, total $54 million. To plaintiff Jacqueline Barden, $28,800,000, $57,600,000, $73,600,000.
In total, the jury awarded the plaintiffs in Connecticut $965 million. But that's not all. Judge Barbara Bellis imposes an additional award of $473 million for punitive damages.
Total $54 million.
Yeah!
By juror number 1. $28,800,000. Initialed by juror.
Get those numbers up. $1 billion owed by Alex Jones. I personally don't have $2 million. The company's almost completely out of money. We're in bankruptcy. There's 2 appeals. It'll take years. There's caps on almost all of this. This is just completely, absolutely made up.
How much will he pay when this is all said and done? It depends on knowing the outcomes of so many contingent things about how the bankruptcy goes, how the state court appeals will go, how any negotiations go in the future. Both sets of plaintiffs have solid arguments to evade the statutory caps. We're going to have 2 more trials and 2 more verdicts. What this shows you is that ultimately there will be a large group of plaintiffs, 20 of them, who are going to be dividing up the corpse of InfoWars.
The message is a very good one, and it's very important to the future of our society. The message is about the importance of truth. Truth is our reality, and anything but truth is not reality.
At the time of this recording, Alex Jones has declared bankruptcy, and the money that was awarded to the families, it's tied up in litigation. Our final case shows how even 20 years after a crime, a trial can still be a dramatic game of cat and mouse between the prosecutor and the defendant.
If I go ahead and fight with you, and let's say I win, you're not going to win.
After 20 years, Robert Durst finally finds himself on trial for the murder of his friend Susan Berman. This trial is unlike any other. Not only is there a 14-month delay that interrupts the proceedings due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but the prosecution is permitted to introduce evidence about 2 other deaths to connect Durst to Berman's murder, that of his missing wife, Kathy McCormack Durst, and his former neighbor, Morris Black.
He killed Kathy Durst. Then he killed her, and then he got rid of her body. But when the reinvestigation happened, and when Susan Berman told him that, you know what, I'm going to talk to investigators, that she sealed her fate. The evidence is going to show that he murdered his friend Morris Black, dismembered his corpse. He did that because, again, Morris Black was a connection to Kathy.
When it came to Durst's defense, he did something shocking, reversing 2 denials he had previously made. The first being that he didn't find Susan's body, and the second that he didn't send police a note about where to find Susan's body.
He did not find Susan's body.
He did find her body shortly after someone had shot her in the back of the head.
You didn't write the cadaver note, is that what you write the cadaver?
Whoever wrote that note had to be involved in Susan's death.
He wrote the anonymous letter so her body would be found, and he ran.
He was very good at telling his story a lot of times and getting away with it. And his story was, I just happened to come upon my friend Susan Berman, and therefore I wrote a cadaver note and sent it to the police.
The defense also tries to argue away Durst's infamous bathroom confession on the HBO documentary The Jinx.
Of course.
Durst is an easy target. It wasn't a confession at all. The producers of The Jinx come along and spent maybe 100 hours interviewing Bob and then splicing and editing that together to make him look evil.
At trial, there are many notable moments, like when defense attorneys reenact the Morris Black shooting.
Mr. Lewin, why don't you describe it? I can't see it.
So we got Mr. Garrett playing Mr. Black.
And then there's the testimony of Durst's friend Nick Chavin, who claims that Durst made this chilling admission.
I said, he wanted to talk about Susan, and Bob said, I had to. It was her or me, I had no choice.
Yet there's one part that had everyone on the edge of their seats when sickly 78-year-old Robert Durst takes the stand.
Did you kill Susan Berman?
No.
Do you know who did?
No, I do not.
I had the opportunity to interview two of the jurors. It's interesting, they slightly differ in their impressions of Durst on the stand.
He would talk about things in such, detail where, gosh, how could anyone go into that much detail unless it was the truth? If this is the same testimony that he gave to the Texas jury, I could understand how they would find him credible.
Did you actually see her get on the train?
She was standing on the platform with half a dozen people. The train pulled into the platform. The doors open. Now, did I actually see Kathy walk through the doors onto the train? And the answer is I don't know.
Maybe he might be, telling the truth in some of these things. And just like, that documentary was called The Jinx, he is the victim of the worst luck anyone has ever experienced.
I shouted Susan a couple of times. Her eyes were closed. I put my hand over her face, and it felt cold. If somebody had done this to Susan, maybe he was still here.
He was giving answers that he had already practiced giving. It just looked very rehearsed, like a performance.
My voice is very recognizable, so I decided that instead of calling 911, I would send the police a letter.
But there's something to keep in mind about Durst testifying in front of juries.
You certainly said to me that you did lie to the jury in Galveston in some way, that your lawyer encouraged you to. And I think that he didn't encourage me to. We went over the oath. In terms of the whole truth, if you want to leave out something which makes you look bad, well, try it.
And that's the inevitable cross-examination that you have to see to believe.
How is anybody supposed to figure out when you are telling the truth and when you're lying?
They would have to use their life experiences to decide.
The whole long weekend when I did the interviews for the Jinx, I was on some meth.
Okay, I'm a straight shooter. What you just told me is
In 2021, the world watched in awe as a frail Robert Durst takes the stand in his trial for the murder of his friend Susan Berman, a crime that occurred 2 decades earlier. Durst claims he found Berman dead in her home and then panicked and ran away.
Did you kill Susan Berman?
No.
But if you had, you would lie about it, correct?
Correct.
Robert Durst denies involvement in his wife Kathy McCormack's disappearance, suggesting she was a drug addict. The prosecution claims he killed Susan Berman because she knew about Kathy's alleged murder. When it came to Morris Black, Durst insists he fatally shot him in self-defense, a claim supported by a Texas jury in his 2003 acquittal.
How many instances of perjury do you think you have committed during your testimony in this trial?
I've lied about several times.
Prosecutor John Lewin just filleted him. I've never seen anything like it.
I believe the killer was either still in the house or in the yard.
Mr. Durst, haven't you testified that Susan's body was cold?
I did not testify that Susan's body was cold.
Do you have it ready to go or not?
Play it. See if I can feel it, and it felt cold.
Well, what do you have to say about that?
Her breath felt, her face felt cold.
She's dead. How can her breath be cold when she's dead? She's a stiff.
I could have watched Robert Durst on the stand in the Susan Berman trial with John Lewin probably forever. It was the most amazing cat and mouse game.
I think I need to congratulate you. You have just broken your personal record. You have filled up 18 lines on my tablet.
And I want to congratulate you. You've set the perjury record.
I had a full, clear view of the side of his face. He would give like a little, sort of like a playful smirk to John, as if he was challenging him.
I never said I knew where Kathy was buried.
Stop. Why did you say you never said you knew where Kathy was buried? How do you know Kathy's buried at all?
Seemed like a logical step. I brought up that my wife was in this program at Lenox Hill Hospital. I was supposed to help her get off of cocaine.
Mr. Durst, look what's number one. The program she wants to go to is Lenox Hill Hospital.
Oh, she was already there.
Yes, as a drug addict patient? I guess the interview would have gone something like this. Well, doctor, why do you want to join our program? I've been very impressed. Oh, have you worked here, Dr. Durst? No, actually, I'm a patient. I'm in your drug rehab down the hall. Gosh, I hope that's not going to affect my chances, will it?
After 15 days of incredible testimony, Robert Durst finally leaves the witness stand. Now, a jury will decide whether Durst was in fact the killer of Susan Berman.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Robert Durst, guilty of the crime of first-degree murder of Susan Berman.
The fact that he admitted to being, in that house and, discovering her body, and the fact that, he was probably there within, minutes or even at the same time as, the real killer was, that has no credibility for me or for the rest of the jury at all. If here's a person who has, inadvertently, confessed his explanation where it was somebody else, it's unbelievable.
We further find the allegation that in the commission of the above offense, that Susan Berman was a witness to a crime.
At the end of this discussion about Kathy's murder, we did not believe that she was a drug addict who went missing or ran away. We felt that the evidence demonstrating domestic abuse and murder was overwhelming, and this led to a unanimous guilty vote, and this supported the special circumstance.
Susan Berman was an extraordinary human being. Killing her was a terrible loss to our community. It's the judgment and sentence of this court, Mr. Durst, that you be imprisoned in the state prison for the term prescribed by law, that is, life in prison, without the possibility of parole.
While Durst learned his fate in California, there's an unexpected development out in New York.
That conviction had significant implications for our office's ability to bring charges.
After almost 40 years, Robert Durst is finally charged with second-degree murder of Kathleen McCormack Durst. However, the prospect of justice for Kathy would be short-lived.
But we have unbelievable news. Robert Durst has died.
After spending about only 12 weeks in prison, Robert Durst dies behind bars.
When I found out that Robert Durst died, my immediate thought was that Robert Durst willed himself to live as long as he did. He wanted to be the center of attention at his trial. With that complete, I think he was done. The greatest sadness that I felt at the news of Robert Durst's death was that we would never learn what happened to Kathy Durst's body.
Yet there's an important legal implication here too. Not only will Durst never stand trial for the murder of Kathy, But out in California, since Durst died during the appeals process, his murder conviction is dropped.
That is absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand it at all. That rule should be revised. All this effort and energy and resources went into establishing this. Why can it be overturned and nullified so easily? I do take comfort in knowing that there was, great satisfaction in giving that guilty verdict, because it was a long time coming, especially after he was acquitted in Texas. Most people are not going to be looking at this little detail that it was overturned. I think the message is that he was finally found guilty, and that's what's going to stick in people's minds.
Well, from just these cases alone, it is clear that trials can be packed with twists, turns, and a lot of unexpected drama. Thank you so much for joining us here on this special episode of Prime Crime, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and as always, stay safe.